Hooffields and McColts. Nice play on words, guys. This episode is basically a play on words and also a bit of a, I would say, parody in many cases to the actual feud that happens between the Hatfields and McCoys, because that's actually a real feud that's been happening for over a decade now, if I'm not mistaken. But, you know, this being a kid's show, they have to try to tone it down and stuff like that because, you know, some of the stuff happened in there and they can't bring it here. And I'm going to say this right now, please don't bring the historical accuracy argument because Overbarrel didn't do that either. So let's just talk about the episode as it is. So Fluttershy and Twilight are called by the map to finally solve a friendship problem with these two feuding families known as the Hooffields and the McColts. So basically what happens is that they're basically going through a feud between each other. And as we progress through the episode, we see that this feuding that they're doing is causing a massive problem within the land to the point that the animals are having a hard time when it comes to food and other stuff like that. Twilight and Fluttershy tried desperately to get these two families to become friends, but it just keeps going and going and going into this massive war, which does lead to some funny moments and references, like when they use a cake as like a massive Trojan horse and stuff like that. And I love the design of the ponies in this episode. Like, the design of the ponies are some of the most unique pony designs we've seen in the entirety of the show, and that's saying a lot. I do like the fact that Twilight is still new to this, being like the princess of friendship, that she had to resort to a book, but I felt like she resorted to it too much, to the point that it was becoming annoying. Nothing seriously bad, but it was kind of annoying. And I did like having Fluttershy there, kind of being like, you know, Twilight trying to be the by-the-book person, and Fluttershy just being there for being there, but she has her own reason for being there, and I like that. It's like we have two different dynamics that are working together to basically solve a friendship problem. The episode ends basically with Twilight and Fluttershy basically explaining that because of how far they're going, they're basically ruining the land for the animals around them. And because of this stupid feud that they're doing, they're basically killing the land. Like, once they learn the full story of what happened between the Hooffields and the McColts, they end up learning that the land used to be really beautiful. Now it's just barren for the most part, thanks to them. And it's not only them that's suffering, it's the animals around them that's also suffering. So they finally come together to work together to bring the land back to its former, you know, state. And, you know, basically help it for the animals and stuff like that, which kind of like that message. I do like that. What do I think about this episode? It's nothing spectacular, at least for me, but I definitely had fun watching it. It had funny moments. I liked the design of the ponies of the Hooffields and the McColts, and I did like that the show tried to make a reference to an ongoing feud, which is still going today. Tone it down a little bit, but they wanted to bring it, you know, on a feud that's been going on for a long time, which this is based off of a true story, the Hatfields and McCoys. So, yeah. I think this is a pretty fun episode, and I think it's a pretty cool episode. And that's my speed impressions on the Hooffields and McColts.